All right, so like we screwed up, Mike. We screwed up like really bad.
How so?
In the last podcast, like we jacked up like a whole bunch of things, and I think like probably before we get started here today, we should maybe correct the record a bit.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
What happened? So I don't know why, but the first thing we did is we spelled Saguaro with an A at the end 3 different times in the last podcast. So for the record, Saguaro. Okay.
Well done.
And we're going to try
You spelled it with an A before?
We did.
We did the feminine.
That's what I thought it was.
We
Saguaro.
did. It's not Saguaro, it's Saguaro.
Yeah.
The other thing we did is we made some inaccurate statements about Gila monsters. Yeah. So I said I'd caught one that was like 2.5 feet long. Truth of the matter was that was like a fisherman's tail. They can only grow to like 22 inches. So definitely didn't catch one that was 22 inches or that was 2.5 feet long, but it was big as hell.
Still a good story.
It was a good story.
Yeah.
And you said something about...
And I called Aurora Metro because I was scared that they're the most dangerous animal in the desert.
And that they're poisonous.
They're most poisonous.
Most poisonous.
Which is not true.
Yeah. So their poison is, we fact checked and their poison is about the same as a Western diamondback rattlesnake. Hasn't been a recorded fatality since 1930. This is all according to Wikipedia, which we know is 100% accurate always.
Is it the same kind of poison, a neurotoxin like a rattlesnake?
I don't think so. We talked about that last week. I think a lot of the rattlesnakes are actually hemotoxin, but I think we need to fact check that to make sure.
Maybe it is hemotoxin.
That's why Dan's here. He can fact check us on the spot.
I don't know either.
All right. So what are we going to talk about today? Every great mountain bike ride ends with a trip to the emergency room. That's the title of today's podcast. We have an amazing guest with us, Mr. Dan Macinnis, and we call Admiral Dan, Mr. Dan. We call him Punk Rock Dan. He probably doesn't even know this. We call
Mike
him.
said that.
Oh, did he tell you?
Well, yeah, you look at it and just punk rock just comes to mind.
It is completely punk rock, right? So, So I know, I guess we just start off with that story, right? A few weeks ago, we were riding mountain biking, and it was Mike, and it was Dan, and it was myself and Chad. Do we have anyone else with us? It was just
us
four of us. Mike had to get back. It was a Sunday morning. Had to get back to get to service, and Chad wasn't able to ride another mile. And Dan and I were going back to the car to complete the loop, and we're kind of contemplating whether or not we should
go around the mountain
and like make it a crazy long ride.
Right.
And I heard Dan say, and then I need first aid. That's what I heard. And it's great when you hang out. So I'm ex-military. Dan is I'm not even going to say Dan's ex-military. Dan is a retired 2-star admiral.
1 star.
1 star. I thought you were a rear admiral.
That is. 1 star is rear admiral lower half. And 2 stars is rear admiral.
Okay. Got it. I'm Air Force, not Navy. So he's educating me. So 1 star admiral, super, super awesome dude. But when you're with someone that's ex-military or in the military, we learn in the military to speak, especially in times of like crisis, very specifically and particularly. And when you said I need first aid, I knew like there was no, like this wasn't I scratched myself. This was like a pretty serious situation, and came back, and what I saw was I don't know, maybe a 5-inch gash, 4-inch gash on your leg, lots and lots of blood. At first you thought it was an arterial cut, but it ended up not being an arterial cut.
Like maybe for 1 second I thought because all the blood coming, but as soon as, I put my fingers down and you could push it together and you could see the blood would squirt out and then stop. So
you knew it was good.
quick self-diagnosis.
It was definitely a lot more than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. So came running back and he's like, "Hey, I need your first aid kit." And I'm like,
I said, "Do you have a first aid kit?"
Do you have first aid kit? And I said, "No." And the look on your face,
I was kind of surprised.
I felt so disappointed
because you seemed so prepared as a mountain biker. I would have bet money you got a first aid kit.
No, I had nothing. So what did we do? Dan took off his shirt.
Yep.
He put it. I had this little Velcro strap.
Yeah, if you didn't have that Velcro strap, that was key, I think. Yeah.
I think
I probably would have had to tie a knot.
tie a knot in the shirt or whatever.
Right.
But
And now I have a Velcro strap I carry in my kit.
it's just because it worked.
And some Band-Aids.
And some bandages, right? I need to carry some big bandages, but and then I hauled ass back to the truck, and you kind of walked out / rode out. You know, why don't you tell me a story from
Yeah,
your
so first, how it happened. So probably about a minute or two before that, I had to stop because one of the lenses of my sunglasses had popped out.
I remember this.
And I go, okay, I popped them back in. And then it was a really hot, muggy day, and I took them off again to wipe the sweat off my brow, and then the lens popped out again. And I must have instinctively went to grab for it, and it just, the fork of the wheel just went like 90 degrees to the right. And then I just went straight over, and it was right in front of this huge barrel cactus, too.
Yep. We talked about those last week.
Yeah. And I thought maybe... First thing I did is check cactus damage because I've hit some cacti before really bad, and there was none. And then I looked down at my leg, and it was just like oozing out blood. And so the first thing I called out, first aid.
I need
first aid. And then you came back, and then I said, do you have a first aid kit? And he said no. So gave me like,
you gave me this
I
look.
go, what? Like, you don't?
Like I was a young troop that had failed the boss. He just gave me this look like, why are you not prepared? I can't believe it.
And
oh man.
So then you went to haul for the bike, and then I started to walk, and I go, this didn't really hurt that bad. So I just kept riding. So I rode. And you gave a pretty good checkpoint on where to go. So then I went down, and then I got to the road, and I was just waiting. I think I waited about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it ended up being longer to the car than I thought it was. Yeah, and it was like of course it was all uphill. It's funny if you look at my Strava, like the last 3 or 4 miles of that ride up, my heart rate was pegged at like 160, 165, which for me is like a pegged heart rate.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, I was cranking. So when we drove to the emergency room,
right? I called my wife.
Called your wife.
So she met us there later. Brought another shirt. Actually, she forgot the shirt. I don't know if you.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Did she?
Yeah, so she had to go to the Walmart
and buy you a shirt.
Bought me a shirt.
That's awesome. I didn't know that
because it was cold in the.
Oh, I can imagine.
Did you go in shirtless to the ER?
Yeah, I went shirtless, and they didn't ask for a mask.
Yeah, no.
But they were asking everybody else for a mask. They had a woman, a nurse there. It was like a
mask Nazi.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I just said, hey, I need first aid, and they sent me right back there right away. I didn't have to check in or anything. They just put me right in the
and you were at the ER for quite some time because we were texting you a while, and
it was 3 hours. They had 2 other emergencies came in that had higher priority, which is why I was waiting there.
Oh, so you finally figured that out. At the time, you didn't know why you were waiting.
Yeah.
The doctor knew exactly what had happened, huh?
He guessed it. Yeah. He said it was a very clean cut. It was almost like a knife made the cut.
Right.
And so he rolled out a rock or something like that. And I said, I can't think of anything sharp on the bike. And he goes, do you have those sharp spikes that go on the bottom of your pedals? On your pedals? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's it.
He either rides himself or he's seen that happen before.
Actually, he's a unicyclist.
Okay,
and
of course he is, right? The ER doc isn't even a unicyclist, because that's really popular for ER docs to be unicyclists.
And he had something similar like that happen on the back of his calf,
right?
A unicycle.
Oh, yeah,
that's how he guessed it.
Oh man, that is crazy. Yeah. And who gave you those pedals, by the way?
You did.
And did I warn you?
You warned me. You said better be careful. You'll cut yourself on these.
Now, here's the real punk rock question. Are those pedals still on your bike?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's what I'm talking about.
And you gave my bike a bath, so I couldn't check for flesh.
Oh, no, I didn't see. Yeah, I brought his bike because his bike was in the back of my truck. I left him at the emergency room, and I brought his bike home, and I was cleaning my bike off, and I thought, damn, the least I can do is clean his bike while he's in the emergency room getting
stitched up.
Getting stitched up for sure, man.
Well, that's a good story, Dan. But in all seriousness, it's glad to hear you're back already riding today.
I've been riding a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what happened that night, right? So So Dan's kind of texting me, and I don't know, we were running around in town or whatever, and he's like, hey, I'm going to come get my bike. And I was like, all right, cool, no problem. And so he's like, hey, I'm like a quarter mile from your house. I'm like, all right, cool. So I kind of go outside, and here comes Dan walking up, right?
The other way.
Just walking. He walked 2 miles from his house with 14, 13, 12, whatever, 13 stitches in his leg. No bandage on the wound, by the way, just completely open.
Right. Actually, I asked the doctor, and the doctor said, do not put a bandage.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were following the rules there, and then you just hopped on your bike and rolled home.
That's where the name Punk Rock Dan comes from.
That's where the name
Actually,
Punk Rock Dan
I think you coined that before because of my first bike I rode.
Yeah, so tell us about that first bike. I'd like to hear that story.
So I had a road bike that I've been riding. It's a Bianchi yellow bike. It's a racing bike from the 1987. It actually has some award that it had won that year stamped on the handlebars.
All right, so 1987.
Yeah.
Okay. How many years ago was that? It's like 30 years ago. Sorry.
35.
Sorry.
35 years ago.
You and a cyclist.
And I think, I
my
can't
gosh.
remember. I think I might have even tried some of those trails in that bike, but I could be wrong.
On the
about
road
that.
bike?
Yeah.
On the 1987 Bianchi steel road
And,
bike?
well, I know I was doing some of the dirt paths in our neighborhood. And so then I had my 15-year work anniversary, and I get the catalog.
Yep.
And everything in that catalog is nothing you want, unless you're getting something for your wife. Half the guys are getting stuff for their wife.
Right.
And I saw a mountain bike, and I said, that's perfect. So I got the mountain bike. That was 3 years ago in February. And I rode that for about, 2 years. And it was actually about a year ago, it started to get pretty beat up. The crankcase was going out on me. The bearings were bad.
The bottom bracket.
Yeah, and you could hear the ball bearings cranking and stuff. So I took it to that RVBS place.
Yeah, so who he's talking about is Chris Croto, and Chris Croto runs a service only bike shop. That's actually kind of in his across the street or like out in his yard. He's got like a little garage set up. We're actually going to have Chris come on and talk to us in a couple of weeks. He's an amazing guy. But keep going.
Yeah, so I brought the bike in, and even like 10 feet in, he could tell that the front suspension was screwed up.
Right.
And I said, "Hey, could you take a look at this? I need to replace." And he goes, "That bike's at end of life."
Do you remember what kind of bike it was? The brand?
No, I don't. I don't remember the brand. And it was, I think I went online to check, and it was like $230.
Yeah, so we're talking like kind
really
of department store, Walmart
department store,
level kind of
Walmart.
bike.
But it had a suspension. It was a spring suspension, not a hydraulic.
Right.
And it served its purpose for me. It got me into the mountain bike trails. And I was, up to that point, I was just doing the dirt trails. And then you turned me on to the Vortex.
Yeah.
With the map and everything. And I just loved it. And I would just ride forever. And I think Mike or someone saw me riding that bike and just said,
That's punk rock,
that's
Dan.
punk rock.
That is punk rock, Dan. That is the most punk rock thing. And we rode with you a few times. Now we have expensive bikes, kind of pro quality bikes, and we're out there riding. And you were right with us the whole time on this $200 department store.
Well, I
bike.
was having a hard time keeping up, actually, because it's smaller. It was 26 inch.
Yeah, 26-inch wheels.
And you guys, I was, especially on that last haul up,
Right.
Camino Loma Alta, I was not keeping up with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I beg to differ because I was actually right behind you trying to keep up, and Josh was in front. And so I got to see the whole suspension work on that Amazon special.
Really?
Yes. And you shredded out there. I mean, you left nothing on the trails. And except your water bottle once when it went flying off down the Jeep trail.
Yep. You picked it up.
Yeah. But no, I was very impressed in the 26-inch full suspension, like Huffy style bike.
It was a pretty crappy bike. And you kept telling me, you got to get a better bike. You got to get a better bike. And someday. And even after Chris told me it was end of life, I still rode that thing for like 6 months. I know. Because that was August. Because I was looking at the text to Chris, and it was like August a year ago, and I didn't get the new bike till May of this year.
Oh my gosh!
So I think I was out of having a mountain bike for like 2 months,
right?
And then it was my birthday in May, and I just said I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger
and buy yourself a birthday.
How many miles do you think you put on that bike?
Oh, the original one?
Yeah,
Oh, it's hard to say.
You ride quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I pretty much go once a day. Go out every day.
Only once a day.
Well, actually, I do. I'll do one mountain bike and then one road bike a day.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
like this morning, I did the mountain bike. I did the 19-mile loop or whatever.
The big loop that we did last.
Big loop.
Yep,
I
yep.
did that this morning, and then, or actually yesterday morning, and then I did about a half hour on my road bike this afternoon.
Now we got to put it in context, though, right? So every day is now Saturday
Exactly. Every day is a Saturday
because he is retired, like officially retired. Do you think you'll go back at all?
Maybe as a contractor after 6 months or so, but
Yeah.
I'm not planning on it.
You're not gearing up for it. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your accolades here. I want our listeners to know who you are, right? So so I was kind of running it down, and maybe you can help me fill in the blanks if I miss anything, and then you can probably help us both fill in the blanks, whatever we couldn't find online. But you went to MIT.
I did a master's.
Master's in engineering at MIT. You have another master's from the University of Maryland.
Correct.
And a bachelor's of science from the Naval Academy.
Right.
You were chief engineer at Raytheon here in sunny Tucson, Arizona. You were a 1-star general.
And Admiral.
Sorry. I'm Air Force. We call them generals. Right. You are a very talented and accomplished amateur magician. I don't even know if I can use the word amateur. You're just a great magician.
I consider myself a serious hobbyist.
Serious hobbyist magician. Yeah. And I've actually bought tickets and went and saw Dan perform.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. At the Stars of Magic. I think, was it last year that I went, or was it a couple
you went
years?
2019.
Oh, it was many years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. We would have went this year, but we had the cousins party at the house. I'm still getting over that actually. And you're from Akron, Ohio.
Yes.
So Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of Midwestern boys here.
Right.
So did I miss anything you have?
Yeah, a few things. So were you a pilot as well?
Well, I went through flight training, and I went about as far as you could go without getting my wings. So I had 17 traps on 4 carriers.
Oh, so you actually landed and took off
on the Navy ships?
Yep.
What were you flying? F4s?
A4 Skyhawk.
Wow. Yeah. So why did you not go? Why did you not continue with that?
Well, what happens is they have very high standards on carrier landings,
right?
And I just was not. I was just not cutting it.
Yeah, it was not your game.
Yeah, as Clint Eastwood would say, man's got to know his limitations.
Right. And yours was landing in a tiny fighter jet on an aircraft carrier.
That's incredible. Basically when I Google your name, which sounds funny to do, but I did, as any good podcaster preparing for, the show, it does, right? not stalkerish, but no, seriously, the work you do in the community as well at the TMC hospital, visiting patients and things like that stuck out as well, Dan. So.
Is that you, Dan? He's looking at.
I don't think so.
It's not. It's the wrong Dan Macinnis.
No, I've got it right here.
What does it say?
Yeah, Rear Admiral's Compassion, sharing inspiration with kids at the hospital back in pre-COVID.
Okay. So what this was a Navy week in Tucson, and when I was still Admiral, they had hosted me for a week, and I visited the hospital.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I did a coin trick for one of the kids there.
That's interesting to have
but I'm not. It's not a regular thing that I do all the time.
But you don't have a job now, so you could totally get into that.
I could do that
if you wanted to do that.
I could do that.
Yeah, for real, man.
So, and then lastly, when I Googled your name, this is what popped up. If you could recognize it, it's like Carrot Top here with props.
I don't know
on
who
a
that
podcast.
person is.
So this is Josh. Do you know who this is?
I do not know who that is. Huh? He's showing me.
This is the most interesting man in the world.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Is that the Dos Equis commercial?
It is.
Guy?
No. So this is funny that you say that because Mike comes in today.
Yep.
And what do you got with you, Mike?
Yeah, I've got Dos Equis 6-pack. Parting gift for a guest.
So we got a
awesome.
We got a 6-pack for you in the fridge that we'll give you on your way out for being the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. What came to mind, I've got here is the themes. We've got highly decorated in the Navy, serious mountain biker, magician, Renaissance man, and then ultimately that leads to being the punk rocker.
Punk rock, dude. Totally punk rock.
Well, thanks.
You'd have to see Dan to like know how punk rock he is. Like you've got the fanny pack from 1987, because like fanny packs are in right now to ride. They call them hip packs now. They don't use the term fanny pack anymore, but hip packs are like in to ride. But the hip pack that you ride with is not one of the new ones. You've got a hip pack like back when they were.
I don't even know where I got that thing, but I don't wear it in the front.
No, you do. You wear it on the side. That is
always on the side.
So yeah, so it's a hip pack for you for sure. And you don't wear like bike specific clothes.
I don't.
No.
I never got into that.
No, so this is why you're punk rock, because you're like out there in normal clothes.
But you don't either, though, do you?
Well, it's because I'm so fat that they don't make bike specific clothes that fit me.
But would you if they did?
Yeah, I probably would.
You would. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I am wearing bike.
Maybe I will have to when we go to that old Pueblo.
Oh, so let's talk about that for a minute. This is a good thing. So, so Dan is going to join Mike and I and your buddy.
Yep, Eric.
Who is, I guess, like, tell us about Eric.
Yeah, so Eric's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he's ridden out here a couple times and just loves the desert riding. So we heard about the 24-hour race and said, let's talk to your friend Josh. Let's put together a team and do it next year. So we needed a fourth rider, and that's where Dan comes in.
Punk rock Dan.
Yeah.
So we got Magellan, Hype Man Mike. Yep. And do you know the Hype Man story? We probably shouldn't tell it again on the.
I don't know. I'll have to listen.
I'm just going to tell it again.
Go ahead.
I don't care if we repeat ourselves. So Mike is a skateboarder.
Oh, wow.
Right. He says he goes to the park with a board. That's the description. But he is a skateboarder. And there's this thing that they do at the skate park. When you like land a trick. Like everyone's like, yeah, all right, good job. And they like slam their boards on the ground. And there's kind of like a real good sense of community there. The first few times I rode mountain bikes with Mike, anytime I like went over an obstacle or made a turn or anything like that, he was like, yeah, all right, good job. Way to go. And I'm like, what the hell is that guy doing behind me? Like, why is he's like my hype man.
Right.
So like every time we go, and actually we had a pretty good ride yesterday.
Yeah, it was an awesome ride.
We rode yesterday, and it was some technical stuff. We took like a different trail we didn't normally ride, and you did it yesterday.
Well, it just kind of happens. It's so much fun, right? The reason we ride bikes, I think anyway, and talking to other people is, I think it's the closest thing to being a kid on summer vacation, riding your bikes around.
Yeah.
And for you, Dan, I mean, how fun is it now that you're retired? Like every day summer vacation.
I get to do hour-and-a-half ride every day instead of just 30 minutes.
That's great. Yeah, there's like an Instagram meme going around that's like guys that mountain bike have the same conversations today that we had when we were 8 years old. Like, nice. Hey, dude, you want to go ride bikes? Like we did when we were 8 years old, right? So great.
Yeah.
But okay, so there's a race promoter in Tucson. Todd Sadao is his name. He has a company called Epic Rides. He's been doing races throughout Arizona. He's now expanded beyond Arizona. You can go to epicrides.com. Todd's a great guy. He's been doing the 24 hours in the Old Pueblo, which is just an epic 24-hour race in up just north of Tucson, outside of a town called Oracle. I've ridden it probably 10 times. If you go out to my garage, you'll see I've got all the posters up on the walls. Back in the day, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, we had a mountain bike team called the Sonoran Pirates mountain bike team. Actually, I think we should like recycle that name and use it for our team if you guys are okay with that, or we'll use the podcast name, whatever. But it's been a long time since I've done the race. It is amazing. I mean,
so how does the race work?
Yes.
I mean, are you riding 24 hours straight or what?
Yes. So first and foremost, we need to establish as a team, like, are we trying to perform or are we just trying to have a good time? Because if we're trying to have a good time, there's like a lot of drinking and a little bit of riding.
Right.
And if we're trying to perform, there's a lot of drinking and a lot of riding. So we have to decide what we're going to do there. No matter what, there's going to be a lot of drinking that weekend.
Right.
But you go out there and I think there's somewhere around 2,000 people that are participating. There'll be probably twice that in the town. It's just out in the middle of the desert. So all of a sudden this desert just turns into a city of like 4,000 people. Tents and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a roughly 17 mile course. Not very technical, kind of comparable to what we have out here on the east side of town. About 1,600 feet of climbing. So the climbing is significantly more than we would normally do.
Right. We're like 600, 700 feet.
Yeah. I mean, if you do 10 miles, maybe it's 500 feet here.
Yeah.
Right. So it's more out there for sure. In essentially with a 4-man team, we just went to ride one person at a time.
Okay.
And you have a little baton and you pass it off.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to ride the full 24 hours. And I've had years where we've gone out there and we've ridden straight the full 24 hours at night and everything. And I've got plenty of lights and stuff like that I can loan you if you don't want to invest in that, that we can ride through the night. But no, or we can just be like, hey, we're all going to do 2-day laps or 1-day lap this day and a day lap the next day, and no one's going to ride at night. And we're just going to drink all night, whatever. We
just have fun. Yeah.
We can do whatever we want to do. And I have no preference. So we thought maybe we'd do a podcast with the 4 folks on the team. We'll dial Eric in,
right? And
we can talk about like what our plans are,
okay,
for the event.
I've always been told that the person or the team that has the most fun wins. So that's my motto.
We will have fun.
Yeah.
And the weather's been crazy. I've been out there with hail, with snow, with torrential downpours, with beautiful weather. Because in February in Tucson, it can be like anything.
It's unpredictable.
Right? I mean, I've been freezing. I've been, stripping off my clothes. There's a whiskey tree where halfway through the lap, people go out and they tie bottles of whiskey to the tree. And then you stop and take shots of whiskey in the middle of your ride.
Nice.
I've got so many stories from the 24-hour race. One year we did the race, and the Sonoran Pirates was a very large team, and by large I mean it was across the United States, and actually had a chapter set up in England as well. So we had members from, probably 15 different states. In a very active chapter. As a matter of fact, I think the only current active chapter is still in England, which is hilarious.
Awesome.
Considering the fact that the name is based on the Sonoran Desert here in Arizona, but we have a team there. We were real active, but so we would go out with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different teams, all Sonoran Pirates. And some of those teams would be corporate teams with 10 people on them. So we would have a camp with 100 or 200 people.
I didn't know that you were that serious about it.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you want to do something interesting, and you can bring it up right now, go to sonoranpirates.com and you can check out the old website, because there's still a bunch of content.
I know. I saw your flag or banner. That's a cool symbol.
Yeah. Sonoranpirates.com. But, one year we had a triathlete, like a serious triathlete, participating with us. And I've never really been like I always like to exercise, but I've never been like this serious
racer.
Yeah. Like a racer, like a serious competitive athlete. And so we were drinking after I'd done a couple laps, and a lot. We were drinking a good amount, and I was, 3 sheets to the wind. And the guy that was supposed to go out was like, screw that. I'm not going out for my lap. I'm going to sleep. And I was feeling good. I was like, hey, maybe I'll go out for a lap, but I'm too drunk. And the triathlete was like, hey, listen, here's the deal. Go out, man, because it's totally crazy what happens with your body is that in like the first 5 or 10 minutes of like serious hard exercise, your body will just burn through all that alcohol. You'll be stone cold sober.
Really?
This is complete bullshit.
But he said that.
He told me that. I went out and did that lap drunk as hell and barely made it around. Barely made it around the course.
It's amazing you made it though.
Yeah, I did make it.
But he did convince you that
he could. I think it was probably easy to convince me at that point.
At that point,
yeah, he did.
All right, I have to read this because this is Sonoran Pirates website.
Yeah.
All right, here's what it says: Sonoran Pirates, aka Son Rats.
Yeah, Son Rats.
It's awesome. Is a team of mountain bikers from, and it lists all the states here and UK.
Did it start here?
2004.
You did? Wow.
The one thing that matters is that you ride, not how fast you ride, nor the gear upon which you ride.
Yeah, that was our motto.
That's cool.
Doesn't matter how fast or what you ride on, just ride. Because, some cyclists can get, a little finicky about, uppity or bougie about like what you ride.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, hey, just ride, man. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you got a Walmart bike, you're punk rock Dan, dude. I mean, come on.
All right. If we can circle back to Dan's, speaking of bougie and bikes.
Yeah.
So Dan, you mentioned that you go on 2 bike rides a day now, one on the road and one on the trail, right? All right. So I got to ask, what is your road bike right now? Is it still the
Bianchi?
Yeah.
The yellow Bianchi?
It is.
Yellow Bianchi, yeah.
From 1987.
Yes.
I just love
I took it to
just,
Chris's today because I had that problem with that flat. I had like 4 flats.
Oh,
in
you
2
you
days.
told me you were having flats. I didn't realize it was on your road bike.
He's on the road bike. Yeah.
Okay. Did he diagnose what it is?
He said it wasn't clear. It was probably tool damage. Me putting it on. I probably didn't know how to put it on properly.
So you damaged the rim, maybe
No, it was in the probably the
in
tube,
the tire or in the tube.
the inner tube.
Okay,
yeah.
so like if you pinched the tube between the tire and the rim wall,
Right.
that's something that can happen often, or between the tool if you're using like a
Yep.
tire lever, you can pinch it, and then as soon as you blow it up, it'll go flat or shortly thereafter.
Yep. Yeah, because I had like 4 flats in 2 days, and then I replaced the tire. I got these gator skins, and then I got a new tube, put it on. I rode.
Yep.
The next morning, it's flat. Put a patch on it.
Yep.
Put it back on. I had a hard time getting the tire on
Yeah.
because the gator skins are really hard to get on.
Is gator skins a type of tire? I don't even
It's
know.
a type of tire. It's got a Kevlar lining. It's supposed to be really thorn resistant.
I'm looking them up right now as you're talking.
And a minute after I filled it up, it goes psst, psst, goes flat again.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I got to take this in because I'm going to keep patching this thing up and it's keep going flat. So he didn't see anything wrong with the tire. He did put some inner tape on because of that one flat from before was on the inner rim,
Okay.
not the outer. So he just put a piece of tape, put a new thing on. He said it'll probably be fine.
Yeah. So like, what he's talking about is inside your rim, there are holes drilled that the actual spokes go through, right? And that's how you tighten the spokes up or thread them on. And if you don't, you have rim tape that goes around those, and that rim tape protects the tube, from, the sharp edges around that, typically that aluminum. Although if you've got a bike from 1987, who knows what the material is?
It was a new tire.
It was the rim,
it's not
the actual metal rim.
Yeah, they're not original rims.
Okay, they're not original. Anyways, if you damage that rim tape, then that's a good place when you pump the tire up to get it flat. So that makes a lot of sense that just some tape could have fixed it. How's it gone since you?
Well, I just had one ride since then, and it's still, unless I go home and it's flat again.
So far, so good.
Right.
So far, so good. That's awesome.
That's the other thing is he goes, how much do you fill it up with? And I filled it up to 100 PSI, and he said, I'd put it at 80 to 90, gives it a little bit more resilience to thorns and stuff. So, and it's also a more comfortable ride.
Wait, when you showed up to ride with us, let's talk about like tire pressure for a
10
second.
PSI or something.
We come up, 10 comes up.
Because I was filling it up more than what you guys are telling me. Because when I went to that Roadrunner shop, he said, "What do you fill your tires up?" He goes, 20. He goes, I put it a little bit more than that because I've seen new bikes come in and the first ride, the rim is bent.
Yeah.
And they have it like at 20 PSI and they hit a big rock or something. It just bends the rim.
So this is like the balance, right? You have to balance between your weight, your riding style, where you're riding, and how much traction you want. And the lower the PSI, the more traction you get, right? And so I am a big guy, probably one of the biggest, like serious mountain bikers you'll meet.
Right.
Right now I'm sitting at like 265 pounds, which is about 35 pounds less than I was at the beginning of the year, by the way.
Right. Awesome. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's great, right? I
I
hired a nutritionist. Her name's Megan. She owns a CrossFit gym here in Tucson at some point, I think. Well, she's an ambassador for Live. I'm hoping I can convince her to come on the podcast at some point, but but she's been helping me with the food. Anyways, I run at 20 PSI. And I don't have any problems. Right. And we ride, some pretty serious trails. So, I think it just depends on the person. Everyone's different. But when you came rolling up that day, the same day as the accident, you were rocking 8, maybe 10 PSI in those tires. So I kind of felt your tires. I was like, okay, we need to stop at home and fill these up because I don't think these are going to make it on the ride today. Yeah. So, yeah.
So Dan, was that your first trip to the ER after mountain biking, or have you been there before?
Well, I've been to ER before, but that's the first one after mountain biking.
Mountain biking? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you do spend a lot of time in the saddle. Did you hear about my experience going over the bars with Josh?
Refresh my memory.
So I've been over the bars twice. I've been riding for 2 years now, and I always hear OTB, right, over the bars. And I didn't quite understand what it meant and how it all works. And
and then one day you found out.
Yeah, I found out the hard way. And I think it's because I was starting to get cocky. You know, you start to feel a little comfortable and you don't pay as much attention to your position on the bike and the surroundings. And Josh, I think that's when you had just gotten your new full suspension bike.
Yeah.
And you were flying down a new Jeep trail. I don't know if Dan knows where this is. You can identify it out in the vortex.
Yeah. So, you cross over Pistol Hill, and there's if you cross over Pistol Hill, there's a couple spots that'll actually cross over the road there.
Right.
One of them, you can go down a little bit, and there's like a Jeep trail on the other side that kind of parallels Pistol Hill down.
Right.
And it's a really fun. I like it. Whatever. It's a fun downhill. So I typically will add that to our rides, and it adds about a mile or mile and a half to the ride overall.
Is it on the maps?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, so Josh flies down this, and I'm trying to follow him. Like, oh, it looked a little gnarly, but I'm like, Josh did it. I think I can kind of slow down a little bit and maneuver through it. And I must have fallen into like a gully, from the wash.
Yeah, I keep away from those.
Yeah, well, I followed it down, and then I hit a rock at the bottom of it. And I was going pretty fast. And then next thing I knew it, I'm flying the Superman, and probably 15 to 20 feet, and landed, on my side and my helmet a little bit on the back. And you know how you kind of like first aid, I'm like, Josh, like,
and this time, Josh was nowhere near.
He's gone.
I was gone. I was miles away.
Because after that, it keeps going downhill, and he just motors it. So I slowly get myself up. I'm like, okay, I'm still all right. Nothing broken. It just hurts a lot. So I get on my bike, and then Josh comes riding back, and he looks at me and he goes, "How bad was it?"
I knew he'd crash because it had been so long.
Yeah,
oh, man.
So,
But I didn't know till later. Like, you showed me pictures. You were like black. I mean, seriously black and blue.
Yeah, it was. Like we talked about skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I have not fallen this hard skateboarding ever. It was a gnarly fall. And black and blue on my whole side and my hip, my shoulder, collarbone, still a little sore to this day. It was about 5-6 months ago now.
Yeah.
And, we saw a guy last time riding, Josh. I don't know if you noticed, he was wearing a hat, not a helmet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that guy.
Yeah. And I used to think, it's like, do you really need a helmet? But I learned real quick that helmet really saved me, because I definitely hit not hard enough where I think I damaged the
helmet.
Yeah. But I know those are one and done.
You probably did.
It's
probably time for another helmet now that we talk about it. Yeah. Now that it's been 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So be honest with me. How pissed was your wife?
Yeah, that's the funny part.
It's what you asked me.
Okay, so we can all relate to this. Yeah, so
I can't actually, because my wife is awesome about this.
Because she rides too.
Yeah, she's a mountain biker as well.
Yeah, little room for sympathy when you hurt yourself horsing around like that, right? Playing around on the bikes and skateboards. Yeah, all the duties still have to get done.
Yep.
So you see this scar?
Yeah.
Yeah, other knee.
Right here, and then also on the side here.
Yep.
So I've had some bad crashes, not emergency room crashes, but one time going down the thing, this was in September of last year.
Yep.
And it might have been September 2020. Yeah, September 2020. And I know because it's the same day I found out I had COVID.
Oh, right. Good. Perfect.
So anyway, I was going down, and
this was on the Bianchi or the Walmart bike?
No, this is the Walmart mountain bike.
Right on.
And I was going down. It's on one of the vortex where you have a couple of these little dips, and you have these big dips going down this hill.
Yeah, it's the double dip.
The double dip.
I know exactly what you're talking about. We know that.
And usually I always brake going on the second double dip. And this one time I said, I'm not going to brake at all. And I went full speed on the second double dip. And I went over. Not only did I get all of this damage, and the front wheel was just like,
just totally bent.
It was totally bent. And so I'm walking back, and there was some guy in a gator, off terrain vehicle,
ATV, whatever, side by side.
Yeah, and he's an ex-military guy, because I could tell he's Davis Moth, an Air Force guy,
right on.
And he rode me back to the road.
Oh, cool.
And then I was able to walk in, but my wife was mad. And every time I come back, I have a little limp or I have some things. She's
Cactus in you or something. She's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
She just gets so mad at me. And that's why it was so funny when you said, is your wife pissed? And this time she was more worried.
Yeah, you could tell in her voice when I met her.
She was not mad like she was before. She
Yeah.
was like really.
Yeah. Okay. Now's not the time to be mad. Now's the time to be, are
She
you
was
okay?
Like, yeah. And I was like, oh, let's just go home first. I'll take a shower. I'll get a new shirt and then we can go. No, you go right to the emergency room.
She didn't want to mess around.
Yeah.
So like we talked about riding like a kid, get that feeling. After I crashed and I was okay, I had this immense feeling of
Euphoria?
yeah, almost kind of like, I'm
survived
alive.
that.
And
Yeah.
yes,
It's a great feeling.
yeah, that I can take the pain and hit like when you're, a kid and younger.
Yeah, I've heard like people that are into like S&M. That's exactly how they explain it.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
On our next podcast.
Hey, I had a really bad crash, like seriously bad crash.
You've had many crashes, though.
I've had lots of crashes, but I had one like life-changing crash. So I was doing what we used to call them urban assault rides, which was really just us like messing around down at University of Arizona. And we were riding downtown and I was, trying to jump over something or do something stupid, whatever, riding really fast. And my derailleur cable snapped. And when the derailleur cable snapped, I went to pedal.
Oh no.
And the tension that the derailleur, would put within the gear, the way the derailleurs work, because there's kind of like two different ways the derailleurs can work up and down, and the way they worked back then. I went to pedal and the tension was gone. And so like you can imagine, you think you're going to be in your hardest gear and you stand up and you're going, I was literally probably 25, 30 miles an hour, which, if I take away the fisherman's tail, is probably like 15 or 16 miles an hour. I went to pedal and there was nothing
Kept
there.
freewheeling.
And so so what happened was my handlebars turned 45, 90 degrees at like whatever high speed.
Yeah.
And I put my handlebar right into my stomach.
Oh.
For 8 years, I suffered with like serious stomach problems. Ended in me having surgery to remove part of my colon. Wow. So I had a partial colectomy, right? Wow. And I hate to show you guys my belly here.
Yeah.
I got the scars to prove it.
Yeah, you sure do.
Partial colectomy. And since they removed part of my colon, I've been fine since then. So,
wow.
So cheers to mountain biking. I kept doing it after losing part of my colon. And during those 8 years, just about every time I rode, I would throw up.
And you stuck with it.
And I stuck with it.
I didn't know that. After 8 years, I don't think I could have.
And that happened when you were in college?
No. Well, so my college experience is a little interesting, right? Like I went for a couple of years, joined the Air Force, and then finished up and got a degree from one of those kind of consolidator companies. So I didn't have like the traditional college experience.
Gotcha.
I got a bunch of, community college of the Air Force associate's degrees, and Excelsior College bachelor's degree. And that's all I got.
That's cool.
So nothing exciting there, but I am a graduate of the Defense Language Institute for Arabic and Albanian, right? So
that's cool.
I did do one or two cool things.
Where was that? Dayton?
So,
Monterey?
Monterey, California for Arabic. And then I was at a school called In Lingua in Washington, D.C., kind of in the Roslyn area, right by Georgetown.
So you learned to speak Arabic? Huh?
Arabic and Albanian, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those two
Can
languages.
you still speak it?
No, I mean, it's been 20 years. I know words and phrases, but I've forgotten most of the words, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, not a lot of people to speak it to around here.
Yeah.
What was life growing up in Akron like? Did you use a lot of Purell?
No. No. Why would I do that?
What is that about?
That's where Purell is made. Akron,
No
Ohio.
way. Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Akron. I didn't know
You didn't know that? The only thing I know that's from Akron is Bone Thugs and Harmony. Look it up. We got to fact check. Is Bone?
Is
that a group?
It's like a rap group from like the late 90s.
Actually, we got a lot of good music group. Chrissy Hynde, the Pretenders, went to my high school.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And the Black Keys.
Oh yes,
Black
of
Keys.
course.
That's one of my favorite.
Black
bands.
Keys.
And two of the guys from Devo.
Do you like the Black Keys?
Steve-O.
They're okay.
Do you like that kind of music?
Not usually. No. I mean, I'm not into that kind of music. It's kind of like bluesy.
Yeah.
rock.
What are you into?
Well, I like jazz,
Yeah?
and I like rock, like Joe Jackson.
Okay.
Type. I like prog rock, like Genesis,
Yeah.
Kansas.
Do you want to go see like an amazing concert with Mike and I? Mike
Sure.
doesn't even know we're going to this concert because I had a trip planned to go to Maui with my family in about a month.
Oh, cool.
But in Jack White from the White Stripes was coming to Tucson the week that I was going to be in Maui.
Yeah.
And I was so bummed because I wasn't going to be. And Mike and I, 3-4 months ago, we went up and saw Jack White up in Phoenix.
Best
Oh, really?
concerts
It was
ever.
amazing. He's from Detroit. Amazing concert.
Okay.
He's coming to Tucson. I ended up having to move my trip to Maui 1 week.
Oh, good.
You did?
Yeah, which cost me $3,700. Yeah, I'll tell you that story later. But now I'm going to be free to see Jack White in Tucson. You should totally come with us.
All right,
It is.
I'll go.
It is a.
He puts on an amazing show.
It is
I'll go.
so much fun, man.
I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great. Here's the crazy thing: we go to the show. It's up in Phoenix at an indoor venue. They give us this like package that we have to put our phone in and lock our phone so that you can't use it.
Can't take pictures or videos.
Well,
or anything.
he just didn't want people on their phones.
Oh.
Not that he cares about pictures, but he like wanted people to be present.
Right.
So he locked up all of our phones.
Right.
And so it was the weirdest thing. There was like, it was a small venue, maybe 5,000, 6,000 people,
Yeah,
you think?
at the most, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone was like talking to each other and engaging with each
Instead
other
of-
instead of
awesome.
just
It was
being
awesome.
like staring at their phone. Right.
Right.
It was the coolest experience. We were sitting back like, this is like how life
That's
used
how
to,
it used to
and how it used to be like this. Like we
Right.
would talk to the people sitting next to us, not just stare at our phone the whole time.
Right.
It was a cool experience. So it'll be interesting to see if he does the same thing here in Tucson, but it was such an amazing show. So much fun. And since it's here in Tucson, right, we totally got to go. So
Cool.
Yep.
So what was it like in Wisconsin?
So I was
Don't
born
you
in,
know?
yeah, don't you know? I was born in Racine, Wisconsin, a suburb of, call it Chicago, might as well be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost. And then ended up in Flint, Michigan, actually of
yeah.
all places for a little bit, and then over to Milwaukee. And I like the Michigan side of the lake a lot more. And so when I moved to Wisconsin, it was quite an adjustment. And it's just so cold there. I'm glad to be out in Arizona. But as you get older, when you have family all back there still, you kind of miss them like crazy, and you forget about how cold it was.
Right.
But I think you get a good work ethic from being from the Midwest as well. Something to say about that. For
I
sure.
like the Midwest.
I got a live fact check I got to talk about.
What's that?
Bone Thugs and Harmony. They're from Cleveland, not from Akron.
Close.
That's close.
It's close. It's
Yeah,
close, but
real
it's not
close.
Akron. And I lived with a guy. We called him Mad Dog, and he was from Akron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Air Force guy from Akron. Really, really interesting cat. I got tons of great stories about Mad Dog. I don't think it's appropriate to tell those stories on the podcast, but he used to really be into Bone Thugs and Harmony, and somehow I just associated Akron like in my head.
Mad
But
Dog.
I'm so glad that we took this advice in the show notes, and we're fact checking now. And so Bone Thugs and Harmony from Cleveland, Ohio, not from Akron.
There's another good group from Cleveland called the Michael Stanley Band. I don't know if you guys
I don't
know
know.
Michael,
them.
what kind of music is this?
It's 1970s rock. It would be almost think Bruce Springsteen type music,
Right.
but better.
Okay.
And it just never made it. I mean, in Northeast Ohio, he's bigger than Springsteen.
Right. You just,
But he's not
like
national.
you just said this guy's better than the boss, just for the record. Yeah. Hook yourself up there, brother. Hey, so Dan's pouring himself some more wine. Mike's how's that Rogue? What are you drinking over there, man?
Yeah, this is an IPA called Rogue Newport Days, hazy pale.
Nice.
Yeah, it's delicious.
And Dan, you're drinking a Pinot Noir. What are you drinking there?
Solena
Solena.
from Grand Cuvée, Willamette Valley.
Yeah, Willamette Valley up in Oregon, right? Willamette Valley is up in Oregon. That's a really actually famous location for Pinot Noir. And
I got to get Chantel to set me up.
Yeah. So like shout out to Chantel who hooked me up with the discount price on the case for that. Great deal. And thanks, Chantel. We're all looking for more. Okay. We got to get back to mountain biking because this is actually a mountain biking podcast. So we should probably focus on that.
Yep.
you got a new bike.
Yep.
You got rid of the mountain bike or the Walmart bike. Do you still have it, or did you actually?
No, I put it on the street when they had the neighborhood junk pickup.
Hey, for the record, if you happen to be in Tucson, there's a place called Bicus, Bicas. You better fact check me on that spelling. I could be wrong about that, but they actually have like a free bike shop with all the tools.
Oh,
you can go in there and work on your own bikes. They have lots and lots of parts for bikes. And whenever I have extra bike parts that I don't need or that are kind of not going to fit into the stable of bikes that I'm trying to maintain, I take them up to Bicus and I donate them. So if you ever have like old bikes or bike parts or whatever that you don't want, highly recommend you take them up to Bicus. Good guys and gals. And
where are they in Tucson?
You know, it's kind of like
I think it's on 7th. It says here
7th Street. Yeah, the only thing I know is there's like a Wellow Canal not too far from there. Everything is because, you know, if you look at me, you can tell I haven't missed many meals.
Right.
So like everything's related to like how close you are to the local burrito shop. So yeah.
and for those listening who haven't experienced a Sonoran dog,
yes,
they're pretty good.
Oh my gosh, here we are. We're talking about food, not bikes.
But yeah.
So Bicus, tell me about Bicus.
Bicus, it's very cool place. I learned about it with my kids. We learned how to work on bikes because they have classes there as well.
Oh, I got to take one of those.
Yeah, and Josh is actually very good at working on bikes, and I have a lot to learn. But Bicus was a great place to start. Free parts and classes. Yeah,
maybe we'll do some. I wouldn't mind doing some clinics. Or
you should get them on your podcast.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll go up and talk to the guys at Bicus and see if we can get someone. Maybe we can bring the gear up to them. I mean, that's how we set this up and talk to them. But okay, let's talk about the bike that you bought because this is a mountain bike podcast, and the place where you bought it. There's a great guy that owns this shop. It's called Ben's Bikes here in Tucson, and we're going to hopefully we can convince Ben to come on the podcast and talk to us. He's a great guy. He's a good character. But I'm looking at the build specs right now. Tell us about the bike you bought, the process you went to get it, and what you think about it.
So once I decided I was going to get a good bike, I went to Ben's Bikes and I just said, "Hey, I'm looking for high end." And so they showed me a series of bikes. You know, just went down the road and they said, "Okay, this one's got this. This one's the same thing, but it's got better components. It's a little bit more expensive." And I remember you also always telling me about the components and how important that is. So then they had the drop post bike, and I said, I didn't know what that was for, but I figured I want to get it.
And then and he's talking about a dropper seat post for those
dropper seat, yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes, and then this is the dropper seat one with a better component. So basically, it was the top of the line they had in the shop,
right?
And so I just said, yeah, go ahead and get that, because when I'm usually pretty frugal, but when I decide I'm going to get something, I usually like to get the best there is instead of having regrets later.
Yeah. So in that shop that day, your size, this was the best bike he had, which was a giant stance, like the best stance that they make.
Right.
So 29, kind of
medium size.
It's SRAM SX component group, which is a solid 12-speed Eagle component group. It's got a RockShox Monarch R on the back, which is the same that I have on my Vitus. It's got the crest, which is Giant's own suspension design for the fork in the front. It's a 130 front, 120 back millimeter. It's got the Forecaster tires on it. What do you think about the bike so far?
I like it. I had no complaints. No damage so far. And
I mean, the difference between the $200 bike and the $2,200 like professional grade bike is.
And I really like the gear shifting, because I had 3 derailleurs on the front before. Yep. And I had the twist handles.
And, twist grip and
the rim brakes instead of the
hydraulic disc brakes, right?
Yeah.
You guys are seeing how punk rock Dan is right now as he's describing the Walmart bike.
Like I'll speed wise. So what would normally take me 30 minutes to get to a certain point, in my path before would be like 25, 26 minutes.
That's cool. So
That
you're
is
taking like
awesome.
10 or 15% off your time.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it more enjoyable as well when you're out
It
there?
is a lot more enjoyable.
And 29 versus 26 inch
26.
wheels. I really want to talk with you. Like once you wear out those forecasters, I want to talk to you about tires.
Okay.
Because like that is the biggest upgrade.
They're Maxis. So is that
Maxis. Yeah, that's a great brand.
Yeah.
The tires you have, the forecasters are good tires. I want to kind of walk you through all the options that you have, because the biggest, like least expensive upgrade you can make, especially to an item that's consumable, right? Something you have to replace, right? Like your pads or your chain, your disc pads, your chain or your tires are things you have to replace on a recurring basis. You can make huge difference to how the bike rides and feels by what type of tires you put on it.
okay?
Yeah, I use it from weight to speed as well. I think you switched your tires recently.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, so it's been a complete transition, right? So I rode, heavily 20 years ago. And then maybe 10 years ago, we kind of got out of it. And so what's happened in the last like decade is mountain bikes have like just gone from really crappy machines to amazing machines. Like in the last decade, the technology, right? You're an engineer, right? They kind of figured out the right geometry for these bikes and how they worked. And before that, it was just like a series of experiments, right? They don't have the kind of R&D that like some big engineering companies, like Dan just retired and I work for the same engineering company, and we're used to like, humongous budgets to go test out every aspect. They don't have that kind of money. Like it's a fraction of the kind of money that we're used to dealing with. So, a lot of the testing is in putting bikes on the street, seeing what happens, right? And so they're experimenting with all the angles, geometry, and they finally got it dialed. And so we kind of get back into the industry 10 years later, and you're like, well, and so what I'm used to is like what was big 10 years ago. So I started out looking for like what I knew, right? So it's like 29er plus that was like coming out, Surly, Hardtail, Krampus, 29er plus is what I bought with kind of geometry that was like old school geometry. And then I started, getting back into it more heavily. I started listening to the Pink Bike podcast, which, if you haven't listened to that, it's a great, really great podcast, a mountain biking podcast, Pink Bike podcast. Shout out to those guys. But, and just kind of got up to speed. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that like I bought a new bike with modern geometry. It is like blowing my mind. I was riding kind of old school tires. I bought new tires with significantly more traction, right?
Yeah.
New compounds. And you would look at those tires and you would think they're going to have worse rolling resistance. So I went, just to put it in context for those that know this, I went from a Maxxis Recon to kind of more of like a park setup with a Maxxis DHF in the front, DHR or Aggressor in the back. And the amount of traction that I gained for a heavy guy with kind of mediocre skills, I'm going way faster with the new tires.
So tell me about the traction and how that affects your ride. Is it less slipping?
Yeah.
Less spinning of tires?
So you kind of have like two sides of the equation that you got to balance. You have durability and traction on one side, and then you have speed and weight on the other. And so you're trying to find the right mixture of durability and traction and then speed and weight. Mm-hmm. And you find the best mix for both of those. I was riding tires that were less weight, that were designed to be faster, but they didn't have the durability, didn't have the traction. Out here where trails are pretty slippery, because we're kind of like, they call it loose over hard, right? You got like kind of the hard collegiate ground, and then you got sand on top. So loose over hard. Traction is really important for us to have. And so I found this combination of an Aggressor on the back and a DHF on the front made me, in the way that I ride way faster than it was on like these cross country smooth tires. Mm-hmm. Now that's not for everybody, right? Everyone's different. My wife, when she comes on, she'll tell you something completely different. When Chris comes on, he'll tell you something different.
So how does the low traction manifest itself in a ride? So if you're riding and you don't have enough traction, what happens during the ride?
Yeah. So your ability to keep speed when things get sketchier when you're turning.
Okay. So you'll be slipping and
if you're doing technical climbing, you want to have more traction so that you're not spinning the wheels. If you're going around a corner, you want to make sure you got traction so that your wheels are staying on the ground.
That's sliding.
just at all times, traction is key.
I think you cut time though when you first put those new tires on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the rolling of them was faster. The weight was less, I think you mentioned.
No, so to be honest with you, the weight on those tires is more.
Okay.
The rolling resistance is more.
Oh wow!
But the traction is way more,
and that makes the difference on your time.
For me, what I lost in weight and rolling resistance, I made up for in traction, and that actually made me faster. Wow! So it's like a balancing act, and you got to experiment with different things.
Is it more faster going downhill then?
It's kind of all over. It's downhill and up because you're doing the technical climbing. You have better traction. You go up faster. Going down, you're able to ascend faster with better traction. So, yeah, man, I really appreciate the tires with additional traction for riding out here in the desert.
And I know when people start traveling and going to different terrains, they'll size up the dirt and the terrain, and they'll switch their tires out before they start riding. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then on my back tire, I just switched over to what did I get on my rear tire? It's a Macinnis cross country. Can't remember the name.
I cannot remember what you put on.
I thought it was the same as yours, but it's a 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah, so I think we're running minions front and back.
Okay,
and it's a DHR minion in the back and a DHF minion on the front.
Yeah. But I've noticed my traction, especially on the climbs that we do, that it's made a big difference.
Yeah. So. The other change that I recently made, I'm going to take a minute here to kind of plug a company up in Salt Lake City. This company is called MTX. They make a rotor. So there's kind of two standard types of disc brake rotors that you use on mountain bikes. There's like an organic pad, which is inexpensive. It's easy to manufacture. It feels pretty good. They wear out really fast. And they don't have amazing stopping power. This is kind of Josh's definition. Then, there's metallic pads, which, a little bit more expensive, a little bit, tougher to manufacture. They have really good stopping power. They last a little bit longer. They're pretty noisy. MTX makes a third option, which is a ceramic pad, ceramic embedded with flecks of, or parts of brass and Kevlar. And they kind of have, they have two different options. They have the red option, which is for race. They have the gold option, which is for either one of two things. It's for if you have an e-bike or if you're a fat guy like me. They work great. So, so far I put the gold, which are the fat guy pads. I shouldn't say fat guy pads. I think they call us Clydesdales. That's like the appropriate term, right? Greater than 250 pounds, you're a Clydesdale. But if you're riding an e-bike, right, which are heavier than normal mountain bikes, or if you're a heavier rider on a regular mountain bike, the gold pads so far have stopped me like nothing I've ever experienced.
Wow.
In a couple weeks, I'm going to take them up to Angel Fire, which is bike park up in northern New Mexico. We're going to do some lift assisted riding. I'll tell you how they work.
Yeah.
So check them out. There's lots of reviews online. They look really good. I'm going to pass the pads over to Punk Rock Dan to check out. They're supposed to be the red ones. The race ones are supposed to be absolutely silent, great modulation, and last forever. They're not cheap. They're like $30 a wheel. So you're talking about $60 to replace your roughly. Don't quote me on exactly a price, but they're like in that range.
You think it's worth it though?
So far, so good. But let's do this. After we take them up to Angel Fire, let's take a look, see how they're performing after I get some hard rides on them. And if they're still kicking butt, then we can give the full endorsement. But so far, I'm super impressed with how
those will heat up going downhill, won't they?
They'll heat up with me for sure.
Miles.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So did you also have to change out your rotors, or was that a choice with these?
No, that's great. That's a great point. So additionally, I went from a 180 to a 203 millimeter rotor. A bigger rotor, more stopping power.
Yeah, these are pretty cool. Wow.
How often do you have to replace? So I got my bike in May, so I'm not sure how long my brake pads are going to last.
I don't think it's so much a matter of time. It's really how many miles, and it depends on the person and the type of brake pads that you have. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right on. The thing that I've noticed when we ride with Josh out there, depending on where we are, sometimes you'd be more stopping in that. So I think it would imagine also like where you're riding, like the downhill, the lift assist they do, the riding downhill. I mean, you're on the brakes like crazy. So I'm sure those guys who downhill, they're changing their pads out a lot more often. But I think is it like cars where you'll start hearing them scream a little bit? Yeah, squeak.
Yeah, you can look down and kind of see him. If you take your bike in for regular maintenance at Chris, he'll let you with Chris over at RVBS, which is Rincon Valley Bicycle Service. He'll let you know like when they need to be replaced, and you can kind of see just by looking at them, you know, when they need to be replaced.
Okay,
yeah, for sure. Well, hey boys, this has been fun.
Yeah, sure has.
Dan, can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming
thank you for having me on
and chatting with us. We'd love to have you on again, and we'll talk. You know, maybe we'll tentatively plan to talk about the 24-hour race a little in more detail, and we can maybe bring some folks in and bring into our planning process. Appreciate y'all. You know, I don't know. Did we do the title of this podcast justice? With
the Cog Mountain, what is it?
Yeah, so the name of the podcast is Mountain Cog.
Mountain Cog. Okay.
The name of this episode is Every Good Mountain Bike Ride.
It's in the emergency room. And we really only told like 2 emergency room stories. Oh, one thing, I'll leave you guys with this from me, and then I'll let Mike and Dan close out any way they want. But whatever you do not Google horrible mountain bike crashes. And look at the pictures.
Yeah.
Like whatever you do, don't do that.
And don't have your wife look at it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. All right, I'll take us out. Mike, what you got to say?
Yeah, no, Dan, it's great, you know, riding with you on the trails a couple times. Looking forward to more rides. And I'm just so happy for you retired. And we appreciate you spending time with us this evening.
And thank you so much for inviting me. This has been a lot of fun, Josh and Mike.
Punk rock guys, take care.
All right, thanks.